From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines. Preparations to reopen primary schools within this month. A further batch of 400,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines to the island. A new medicine against coronavirus has been produced in America. The government focuses attention to set up a garment factory in every village. A magnificent surgery at the Kalutara Hospital. 38 Chinese aircraft enter the Taiwan airspace. Moving on to the stories in detail. Health Ministry spokesman, Specialist Dr. Hemantha Herath has expressed facts relating to the future vaccination process of children. He also provided details on a program to vaccinate foreign employees as well.
We know that last update that we received, it was communicated that over 3,000 children were vaccinated at the initial phase, but I believe that the numbers may have gone much beyond that. We need your support from the parents also to make sure that your child who is require any kind of special needs, like those who are suffering from chronic disease or attending frequent clinics to hospitals for medical services, need to get their vaccine as early as possible. Once the announcement is made, you go to the relevant vaccination center at the stipulated time and get your vaccine. We have received another stock of vaccines under this COVAX facility, and these vaccines also will be distributed according to the available stocks and the target populations to which we are going to administer these vaccines. And this will be decided by the epidemiology unit in consultation with other relevant stakeholders, and the immunization of those vaccines also will be commenced soon. With regard to the vaccination for foreign employment, there are few cases where the specific vaccine is required by certain employers in certain countries to be employed in certain countries. And to facilitate that, the Ministry of Health and the other relevant ministries, including the Foreign Employment Ministry, has made arrangements to get these vaccines through the Foreign Employment Bureau. And if someone needs such vaccines with the relevant document of proof, you need to get registered at the Foreign Employment Bureau at the relevant website and follow the guidelines there to obtain the vaccine if it is essentially needed to get a specific vaccine to secure your employment opportunity.
Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that primary schools will reopen on stage-by-stage basis this month. He adds that plans have been made to recommence schools in a secure environment according to health guidelines. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that they are committed to open the primary schools without delay. Accordingly, they will commence operations stage by stage according to health guidelines. The minister further said that they were able to issue the results of the GCE ordinary level examination amidst obstacles. The reopening of schools would enable the students who have qualified in the O-level examination to follow course of the GCE advanced level examination. The minister added that they will act to fulfill the expectations of the students as well as their parents.
පාසල් අධ්‍යාපනය ආරම්භ කරන්න පුළුවන්කම ඉලක්කයට අපි වැඩ කරමු. බාධා කරන උත්සාහ කරමු. අපොස සාමාන්‍ය පෙළ ප්‍රතිඵලය අපිට නිකුත් කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. ඒ සෑම දරුවෙක්ටම මූලික සුදුසුකම් ලබාගෙන උසස් අධ්‍යාපනයේ අපොස උසස් පෙළට ගමන් කරන්න ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපය තුළ අවශ්‍ය සහයෝගය පාසල් විරුද්ධ කිරීමෙන් හා තොරතුරු තාක්ෂණයේ ඔන්ලයින් සහ විද්‍යුත් ජනමාධ්‍යයේ විවිධ තරංග ඔස්සේ පාඨමාලාවල දියත් ලැබී තිබෙනවා. ඒ සමට වඩා පාසලට යන්න බලන් ඉන්න දරුවන්ට ඉක්මනින් ඒ බලාපොරොත්තුව දරුවෝ පාසල යන දැකලා දැනුමක් අධ්‍යාපනයක් ඇති ජයග්‍රහණය උදා කරන ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන හැම දෙමව්පියන්ගේ මේ බලාපොරොත්තු ඉෂ්ට කරන්න අපිට මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල තුළ හැකියාව අධිෂ්ඨානයකින් යුතුව ඇති කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා.
400,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine received as a contribution from the government of the United States under the COVAX facility were brought to the island yesterday. Minister Dr. Kehele Rambukwala was present at the occasion of receiving the supplies. The stock of vaccines was brought to the Katunayaka International Airport in the aircraft EK-650 of the Emirates Airlines. The US government has already provided 900,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccines to Sri Lanka under the COVAX facility. The United States has so far provided 4.2 million doses of the Pfizer, Moderna and AstraZeneca vaccines to the island. The vaccines received yesterday were transferred to the stores of the Blood Transfusion Center in Narayampeta. State Minister D.V. Chanaka
Well, we are quite grateful because out of the entire requirement, we got about nearly 20% as a gift from the COVAX facility. And we are ever thankful to WHO, the American, the assistance that we have got from all globally, from all the countries across. And we are quite happy at the moment with the proceedings of the vaccination. In terms of the percentages, if you look at, we have passed the 50% mark and we are now around 55% if you look at the entire population. But if you look at over 30s, we are almost 100% on both vaccines. And then between 18 and 29, we got over 45, nearly 50%. And now in the second dose, it's about 12. So we are very much in the top 10 of the vaccination program, and we are happy. And then that was facilitated, apart from the ones that we got it from on our own funds, we got this facility which has assisted us immensely. And we are ever thankful to once again WHO and the American ambassador, American government and the rest of the people who have assisted us in this endeavor. And we are quite content at the moment. We are planning and we are sort of managing affairs to almost, I would say, satisfaction. I'm a little careful with this because things get changed because there are countries where they have done it, but then some new variant comes and then we have to meet the situation. So having given consideration to that, as of now, I think we are doing quite all right. And thanks to all our countries, all our donors, all our assistance that we have globally received.
Ongoing vaccination campaign, as the government has, the minister has said, and the United States government is proud to have contributed through the COVAX mechanism. First Moderna vaccines and now Pfizer. Almost 800,000 doses have arrived in 2 flights, the second of which we see here. This is a very important contribution to containing the pandemic and managing it going forward. This is part of President Biden's ongoing pledge. Not only has the United States government donated $2 billion to COVAX, and we committed to 500 million vaccines. He doubled that pledge at the recent UN General Assembly and committed to 1.1 billion vaccines that the United States will be supplying through COVAX to the world. This, I think, is a demonstration of our commitment to global public health, but also here in Sri Lanka to the partnership that our governments have enjoyed, and we look forward to continued collaboration. And of course, the vaccines are not the only contribution we've made at this time of crisis. $17.9 million to supply PPE, to supply ventilators, and also to provide training and other resources to assist the government in its management of this health situation.
A total of 26,376,809 vaccines have so far been inoculated on people of Sri Lanka under the COVID immunization program. Out of this number, 40,555,215 vaccines have been administered as the first dose. The number of vaccines administered as a second dose amounted to 11,821,594. Inoculation of children between the ages of 12 and 19 years with special needs and inherent diseases is taking place in many districts in the island. Vaccination program in this connection is also taking place at the Karapitia Teaching Hospital. The Kergol General Hospital is also engaged in vaccinating children between the ages of 12 and 19 years. Similar vaccination programs are also being conducted at the Barakapala, Mavanalla and Karavanalla hospitals. 599 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 47,709 patients are currently undergoing treatment. 561 patients have been fully cured. Accordingly, the total number of fully cured COVID-19 patients has increased to 458,646. The Director General of Health Services has reported 55 COVID-19 related deaths which have occurred yesterday. There were 38 fatalities of the age of 60 years and above. There were also 15 victims between the ages of 30 and 59 years. The number of deaths of persons below the age of 30 years was 2. Director General of the South Asian region of the Asian Development Bank, Kenichi Yokoyama, says that the ADB will continue to extend support to the Sri Lankan health services. He adds that several projects of the bank are already being implemented in the country. A group of ADB officials has met Minister Dr. Keheliya Rambukwala yesterday. The representatives have expressed opinions on the 55th annual session of the Asian Development Bank, scheduled to be held in Sri Lanka next year. The ADB officials have also pointed out that they have been able to act in cooperation with Sri Lanka when implementing short, medium and long-term projects in the country. The ADB Director General has further stated that the vaccination program is being carried out extremely successfully in Sri Lanka. Minister Keheliya Rambukwala has extended his gratitude to the Asian Development Bank over the assistance being extended to the country. It has been decided to recommence the visiting of prison inmates by the outsiders from the 4th of this month according to health guidelines. The prisoners are allowed to meet guests once a month and the suspects once a week. The Athwala National Organization, along with the St. John's Ambulance Service, is in Sri Lanka engaged in a disinfection campaign in common places, including religious institutes and police stations. The next stage of the program is to be implemented island-wide under the 3 stages. Accordingly, 23 fisheries harbours will be completely disinfected. The services of the National Transportation Medical Institute is scheduled to recommence on the 4th of this month. The participants are required to attend in the events after reserving a date and a time. Further information is available over the website www.runews.lk.
Quick check on the COVID situation outside Sri Lanka. New Zealand officials reported 27 new cases of the highly infectious Delta variant in Auckland today, as protesters took to the streets to rally against almost 2-month lockdown in the country's biggest city.
New Zealand reported 27 new cases of the highly infectious Delta coronavirus variant in Auckland on Saturday, as protesters took to the streets to rally against an almost 2-month lockdown in the country's biggest city. Auckland is home to 1.7 million residents. They're expecting a government decision on Monday about whether the city will remain sealed off from the rest of New Zealand. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern enforced what was meant to be a short and sharp nationwide lockdown in mid-August in response to the Auckland outbreak. But while the rest of the country has largely returned to normal life, the North Island city has remained in lockdown for about 7 weeks. Here are some of the protesters.
Our freedom to choose our choice is being taken from them. That's not acceptable. That's right. That's wrong.
I don't want to live in a country that's subverted by fear, and that's what appears to be happening.
I'm not going to go and jeopardise my health. I don't care what anyone thinks about vaccines. If you want to go get it. But don't force me.
Around 1,000 people rallied in the city demanding freedom from lockdown, according to local media. The protest was organised by Destiny Church, a Pentecostal fundamentalist Christian movement. Brian Tamiki is the group's leader.
Like a lot of Kiwis right now, I just feel that it's gone too far with the lockdowns and the levels, and constantly being put into these positions means that our jobs, our livelihoods, our businesses, and also the mental health of people is becoming quite evident now that it's really a breaking point.
New Zealand was among a handful of countries to bring COVID-19 cases down to 0 last year and largely stayed virus-free until the latest outbreak in August. but difficulties in quashing the Delta variant have put Ardern's elimination strategy in question.
Today there are 33 new...
Ardern has said her strategy was never to have 0 cases, but to aggressively stamp out the virus. She has said strict lockdowns can end if 90% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated. The number currently stands at 46%.
In the meantime, a pill developed by US drug maker Merck could halve the chances of dying or being hospitalized for the most at risk of contracting severe COVID-19, with experts hailing it as a potential breakthrough in how the virus is treated.
It's being considered as a potential breakthrough in medical circles. Merck on Friday said its experimental antiviral COVID-19 medication reduces the chance of hospitalization or death for patients at risk of severe disease by around 50%. If authorized, Merck's drug, known as molnupiravir, would be the first oral antiviral medication on the market. Pfizer and Roche are both working on antiviral pills as well. So far, only antibody cocktails that are administered intravenously are approved for treating COVID-19. The global Merck trial involved 775 patients. Interim results showed 29 days after taking the pill every 12 hours for 5 days, patients given the pill were 50% less likely to die or be hospitalized compared to those given the placebo. In another piece of upbeat news, Merck says viral sequencing done so far showed the pill is effective against all variants of the coronavirus, including the highly transmissible Delta variant. Merck and partner Ridgeback Biotherapeutics plan to seek U.S. emergency use authorization for the pill as soon as possible and will submit applications to regulators worldwide. The drug maker said it doesn't know how long the FDA will take to review the drug. The company did not detail side effects, but did say men enrolled in the trial had to abstain from sex or use contraception, and women of childbearing age could not be pregnant and had to use birth control. Merck expects to produce 10 million courses of the treatment by the end of the year and has a contract with the U.S. government to supply 1.7 million courses at $700 per course. Shares of Merck surged in midday Friday trading. Vaccine makers like Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna slumped on the news.
And we come back home. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says plans are underway to bring more than 5,000 tourists daily to Sri Lanka by November of this year. The minister further says that this target will be fulfilled according to the health guidelines. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that there is a possibility of bringing tourists to the country through new health guidelines, and they will be implemented in the times ahead. The minister also said that their target is to bring an average number of around 5,000 per day to the island. He has expressed optimism on fulfilling this objective. The minister added that more than 80% of the population in Sri Lanka have been vaccinated. As a result, the security of the nation has been preserved. He also called upon those who have not yet received the vaccines due to false propaganda to come forward and receive the vaccine. The health divisions will take action against those who refuse to take the vaccine.
A kidney stone removal surgery without the patient being subjected to full anesthesia has been successfully conducted at the Kaluthara District Hospital today. This was the first occasion such an operation was conducted either in a government or private hospital in Sri Lanka. The surgery is being performed with the aid of a machine equipped with the world's latest technology. The value of the machine exceeds 3.5 billion rupees. Surgeons at the Kaluthara District Hospital have been skillful enough to remove a 5 cm long stone and several other stones from the kidneys of the patient within a short period. The doctors were able to have a friendly chat with the patient during the operation, as the patient was subjected to only local anesthesia. Although it has been estimated earlier that the operation would take more than 2 hours, it was done within half an hour using high-powered laser technology. Specialist physician and surgeon on kidney and urinary tract of the hospital, Dr. Kalana Paliyaguruge, said that the patient will have the ability to perform the routine duties as usual within a few days from now. The facilities of this world-renowned technology is available for any patient in the island. Director of the hospital, Dr. Pradeep Ratnayaka, was also present at the time of the surgery.
Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alutgamage says provision of organic fertilizer for the upcoming Maha season is being conducted continuously. The minister was addressing a media briefing in Gannorua yesterday. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said that the Maha season commences on the 15th of this month. It will begin from the Ampara district. The minister added that they have agreed to provide 4 types of fertilizer to the paddy farmers. Organic compost fertilizer is being manufactured in this regard. In addition, bioliquid fertilizer is being produced. The minister further said that potassium fluoride has been imported. However, nitrogen extracts has not yet been imported. He added that on the probability of bringing this variety by the end of this month. Therefore, there is no problem in providing necessary fertilizer requirement for the farmers in the upcoming season. The minister further said that fertilizer is being imported for other crop varieties as well. He also said that the tea board has presented them recommendations. All the required fertilizer will be provided to those engaged in the tea cultivation. The Chinese company which exported fertilizer have acknowledged the discrepancies made and agreed to rectify the shortcomings. The company will bring desired fertilizer stocks. Some quantities of fertilizer are also being imported from India, which are also being subjected to proper standards.
A program has commenced to set up garment factories of not less than 50 machines in every village under the pocket factory concept. The program is being carried out by the members of the Sri Lanka Apparel Clusters Association. The objectives include enhancing of export market opportunities, employment generation and rural development. This was disclosed at a discussion held at the Department of Government Information with the participation of the membership of the association yesterday. Dinesh Alvis of the Sri Lanka Apparel Clusters Association said that the main objective is to meet the production target of 150,000 machines by the year 2030. He further said that Sri Lanka is still in a lower level in respect of the number of workers and the utilization of labour in comparison to other developing countries. The main problem is the lack of proper management of the labour. Only 40% of the employers are managing their workforce in the proper perspective.
Singing sensation Yohani De Silva says that she is prepared to take part in the music concert scheduled to be conducted in Hyderabad, India tomorrow. She in fact met with a minor accident on stage while performing at a concert in New Delhi on Thursday night. Well, a note made by Yohani on her Twitter account and Facebook was circulated over social media today. She has also published her photo along with her entry. The picture has shown a bluish bruise mark underneath an eye. Yohani in her Facebook entry has stated that a guitar struck her face while performing on the stage in the New Delhi concert. She added that, however, the concert was conducted without obstruction. She has further stated in her social media notes that the setbacks and experiences of life struggles are determined by the punching and bruise marks. Yohani has selected the venue of the Heart Cup Coffee Theatre in Hyderabad for her second music concert in India.
The Ministries of Agriculture and Trade says that the government is ready to issue rice to the market below 100 rupees. The stocks are scheduled to be released to the shops, including Satosa, within the next 2 weeks. Minister Bandara Gunawardena said that he will continuously engage in the task of providing rice at a price of less than 100 rupees as promised to the general public. The minister has requested 2 weeks' time to fulfill the pledge.
Well, we have some more local news items in brief. Well, the sacred pinnacle of the Chudamanikya of the Sandhiru Sahib were carried in procession to the Pulnitararama Vihare in Ahungal from Kalutara today. A Pinkama has been organized under the patronage of the Anunayaka of the Amarapura Chulagandhi Nikaya, the Venerable Valithara Amarananda Thera, wife of the drug racketeer, detained on the charges of causing injuries to a police sergeant in Rajagiri, was nabbed with 400 grams of cannabis at their Udahamulu residence yesterday. A Pinkama to extend blessings to the Sri Lanka Army on its 72nd anniversary was held at the Mayurapati Sri Bhadrakali Amman Kovil in Vellavatta yesterday. A bus has been donated for the well-being of children undergoing residential treatment at the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama. The vehicle was presented yesterday in connection with the National Children's Day by the International Lions Club's District 306C team. The bus has been provided in parallel to a project valued at 50 million rupees being implemented by the Lions Club. Health Minister ChannelEye Rupavahini was also present at this occasion. The Sri Lanka Air Force Seva Vanitha unit donated 1 million rupees to the Little Hearts project of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital yesterday. The monies were handed over by the chairperson of the Seva Vanitha unit, Chamini Pathirana, in connection with the National Children's Day yesterday. A pedestrian has died on the spot when he was run over by a tractor in Polwatta, Ambalangoda today. The victim is an 80-year-old resident of Pinnanduwa, Ambalangoda. 3 multi-purpose destroyer vessels belonging to the Japanese Self-Defense Marine Task Force have sailed to the Colombo harbour today. On an official visit, the Sri Lanka Navy has ceremonially welcomed the military craft. A program titled Appropriate Intern for Intern Medical Profession was conducted for the 9th occasion today. It was jointly organized by the Government Medical Officers Association and the Medical and Health and Innovation Unit. Health Minister ChannelEye Rupavahini, President of the Government Medical Officers Association Specialist Physician Dr. Anuruddha Padania, and Sri Lanka Resident Representative of the WHO Dr. Alaka Singh have also graced this occasion.
The government has already implemented several programs to expand cultivations not based on poisonous material. A group of small children were engaged in an organic fertilizer manufacturing program contributing to the government's program on the World Children's Day in Ruwanwala yesterday. The program has been implemented with the participation of a group of students of the Dhamma School of the Sri Visuddharama Viharaya in Vandala, Karavanalla. It was organized under the patronage of the chief incumbent of the Viharaya, Venerable Halyale Aryavansha Thera. The objective has been for the children to get used to production of home garden-based organic manure and to enjoy crops devoid of poisonous substances. A young farmer in Meegathanna in Balanlavita is maintaining an extremely successful turmeric cultivation using organic fertilizer. The farmer says he is reaping a bountiful harvest and a higher income from his crops in an extent of more than 1 acre of land. This is the organic fertilizer-based cultivation of a farmer in Allo who has turned farming his sources of livelihood for a period of 50 years. 65-year-old farmer Chandra Somavasala and his spouse manufacture the necessary solid and liquid fertilizer in their home garden.